Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. That's my email address. It's in the description below. Reach out to me directly for pricing concerning this or any Watchbox watch. Email me for pricing at tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing a U.S. market limited edition of 300 pieces for the 2022 model year in stainless steel. This is the Grand Seiko hand-wound Ryusendo Blue SBGK015. Its explosively, electrifyingly blue mosaic dial is inspired by the underground lakes found at Ryusendo in Iwazumi, in Iwate Prefecture, in Japan. There are 4 underwater lakes, and while you might expect underground lightless lakes to be murky, they're in fact crystal blue when illuminated, and so that is the inspiration right in the town of Iwazumi. You want to check these out if you're ever in that part of Japan, and if not possible, you can carry a piece of Japan with you with this watch. Now, it is a 300-piece limited edition. There were reports that this was going to be 250, but you can see on the reverse side, it's quite obviously a 300-piece edition. 39 millimeters in stainless steel, the watch being manual wind. It's a little bit thinner than a standard 9S caliber, as it is 12.1 millimeters thick and 43.9 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Again, a piece of Iwazumi on your wrist. It is beautiful, and it's low. It's got a generously domed profile due to the stepped bezel and the plexiglass-like sapphire. It has a vintage look, and it is part of the collection of Grand Seiko watches inspired by history, so there are elements of that there. It wears beautifully under a cuff, but again, we have an electrifyingly blue dial in a steel case, so you can absolutely wear this casually, and because it's so short lug to lug, I can recommend it for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. The strap is super high grade. It's a dark blue, high gloss, large round scale alligator leather, a cut that's not commonly seen. We have a folded edge, a monotone stitch, buttery soft calfskin on the bottom. In fact, Grand Seiko straps are always buttery soft, even when, as with this one, they are brand new and unworn. It's one of the outstanding qualities. You put it on your wrist, you immediately know you're wearing a Grand Seiko. Now, we have a thick gauge steel, a single swing arm folding clasp, GS branded externally, twin trigger release, so it's not going to pop open. Frankly, it's a clasp worthy of a sports watch, so it's a bit overkill here, but it gives you more security on the wrist. The case is simple, fluid, and organic. Has lovely tapers, compound curves, a contrast between a narrow case band and satin, and then the lug hoods and the case back and polish. This is done by holding the surface to be polished directly against a spinning tin plate on a Zalitz machine. This polishing technique, which they call Zaratsu at Grand Seiko, achieves a mirror-like surface, and yes, it means this case is hand-finished, a quality you will rarely find on comparably priced Swiss competitors. We have here a Grand Seiko logo on the crown. It is a manual wind watch, so you will be engaging with that crown on a regular basis. The click, sound, and feel is luxurious but not over-refined. There's still enough definition to make it a tactile pleasure. Now again, this is a sapphire, but it's designed to look like a vintage plexi, and it does that well. The dial has a lovely mosaic base splaying out from the center. We have polished and faceted hands, logo, and indices. And Grand Seiko dial quality is probably the best in the industry for the price point. I'd say co-equally. In mainstream luxury, it's Rolex, it's Grand Seiko, and no one else is really playing at this level. Although Rolex doesn't put quite the same degree of hand craftsmanship in, as all of these little parts, which twinkle like cut gems, especially the hands, have been finished manually by artisans who only work with micrometric tools all day. That's how you get this blade-like flanking faceting to the Dauphine hands, which are also black polished across their top, and you can see the same treatment on the hour indices. Now, the dial also includes constant seconds and a power reserve indicator. You can see the power reserve hand is golden. Manual wind, 72-hour power reserve. And then we have a small seconds display, and if you wish, you can pull the crown out. We have the hacking seconds function. You can set it to a reference time. That lovely Ryusendo-inspired dial gives way to the caliber 9S63, which was specifically created for this SBGK manual wind series. It's nicely decorated, it's hand adjusted and hand assembled, and when the time comes, it will be hand serviced when it goes back. It is a lifetime movement built to the same standards as movements you'll find in the likes of Omega and Rolex. And you can see that it is visible through the case back. Maybe not the most visually inspired movement, but it is handsome enough with some special details like the exceptionally broad stripes, the satination and black polish polish on some of the regulator assemblies, and then the lovely black polished wells atop the ratchet wheel. It is quite beautiful. And again, adjusted in 6 positions. It's adjusted to keep time to no worse than -3 + 5 seconds per 24 hours, which is better than the COSC chronometer standard. It beats away at 4 hertz or 8 beats per second, and you can see it pivots on 33 joules. We have a ghosted Grand Seiko logo across the case back, and then 30 meters water resistant. This is a dress watch, not a sports watch. So if you do go to Ryusendo in Iwazumi, don't take this swimming in those underground lakes. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.